going well. I've listened to my previous conversation with Adronis, and I said wonderful 18 times during that conversation.
That's very good.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll do the remaining 25 minutes here today. I'll go ahead and bring Adronis through, and we'll get started.
Thank you very much.
No problem. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to the individual known as Deborah. We thank you very much, and how may we assist you today?
Thank you very much for this interaction. I'm very grateful for it. The first thing I have is about an experience I had 2 days ago that was very interesting, and I would like your perspective on it. I'm going to tell you what my perspective is, and I'd like to compare it with what you think. I was driving home from Canada to the States, and I needed to send an email for my work. So I went into a coffee shop with my big old laptop, and every table was full. One table had just one man at it, though, and he was busy on his tablet, and it was a bigger table, so I sort of sat at the end of that table. So it was a completely full coffee shop with people talking. I sent my email, and then I read a post from Daniel Scranton called Feel the Love. And it was so beautiful. And I was, about making your agenda, the love that you feel. I was so feeling the love. It was amazing. It was just wonderful. I was feeling it. When all of a sudden the man sitting at my table was very agitated. He got up and he went over and he was pointing his finger and talking to this other man, and the whole coffee shop was paying attention to what was going on, and I didn't have a clue. I knew that I was the only person in the coffee shop that didn't have a clue what was going on or what the man was talking about, and I realized at that moment that I could have just, I was finished. I could have just walked out feeling the love, because that's what I was feeling, nothing but this wonderful love. But the man came back and sat down. And then I also realized I had an opportunity, I could have a small interaction with him. I chose that. I chose to say something just totally, nothing to do with the incident, just something nice to him. And but of course the incident was on his mind, so he had to describe the incident to me, which was about another man who was racist. Now, my take on that was that I could have just left and felt nothing but love and continued my drive, and it would have lasted with me for longer. I chose to interact with the man. I still felt peaceful, and I still felt love. I still felt really good, but I understood then what had happened in the restaurant that I wasn't a part of. Is this an example like the Bashar when he spoke about the world splitting into two? Was I part of a different world at that point, and I didn't have to interact with this other world. I chose to find out what it was. But what's your perspective on that incident?
Well, it would be more so in the idea that you are dealing with an infinite amount of worlds, and that all of these infinite amounts of worlds represent the idea to where they are sharing parallel space, where you are simply existing within your world that constitutes the idea of love and appreciation. Another will, in that sense, interact in a form to where that energy is tangentially touching their world. And in that sense, through one that may feel that there is still a lot of turmoil or drama or situations of conflict within their reality, will represent a jolt sensation. And this particular jolt sensation is basically bringing up feelings that they are not accustomed to, because the energy of love is so much more powerful than what you would consider to be dense turmoil or dualistic energy. And so the whole idea is that what happened is your love that you were sharing radiated throughout the entire cafe. And that this energy that has been radiating throughout this cafe interacted with other particular worlds, other particular entities operating in their own vibrational levels to bring up immersions of feelings. And so the whole idea is the immersing of feelings can often generate such reactions that you would feel, such as agitation or aggravation in that way, simply because there is a spark, an ignition of thought forms that come together that represent a bringing into conscious awareness that respond to an action-reaction. And basically the entity that was with you was, in that sense, creating the idea of this agitation, this feeling of wanting to, in that sense, speak to you about the agitation. So in that sense, you help to encourage feelings through the love that were being brought to the surface of this entity and many others who may have been within the cafe as well. Now, not everybody would be willing to share that, but nonetheless it is felt. When there is a radiance of love so powerful, so strong, the whole idea is that this love is all about bringing in higher vibrations to others, and that those vibrations will raise frequencies of feelings that will then bring themselves into the surface that generates an action-reaction. So what you are basically experiencing is that, yes, a tangentially connected co-creation between your world and the worlds of others.
That is a fantastic explanation. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
That really helps. That's wonderful.
And you're doing this all the time. So even when it may be a cafe, or if you're at home, or if you're walking amongst the street, and you feel all of this love and it's radiating this love, there are usually two prime reactions to this. One, people will react to it and feel that they need to avoid it, or two, people will join you in the love. And that's the whole idea. Love is a very, 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 very powerful vibration. And it represents the idea of bringing turmoil to the surface. It is a purging effect. It represents the degree of purging into all of those who are attempting to bury their feelings deep down, who feel that the denseness, the fog as it were, is attempting to keeping them very, very grounded, keeping them very, very centered in the state of physical reality pertaining to five-sense reality. When love comes into the key, it is a much more lighter frequency. It is that which you would consider to be the purity of light. It is light attempting to shine against the fog so that the fog can dissipate, and now the fog can no longer hold these feelings deep down within the gut, as it were, and now they're bringing itself to the surface, and now they have to face their feelings. And that incites an action-reaction. So one can either accept that and move into the love frequency, or two, they feel that they are opposed to that and must feel that they have to run away from it. So those are basically the two primary functions in regards to the aspects when love comes into play.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate this so much because I'm remembering now a couple of individuals who, I found out through other people that I made them feel very uncomfortable, in the past, and I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out why I could make someone feel uncomfortable when I liked them.
Yes, and the whole idea really is that it has nothing to do with you. You are being who you naturally are. The whole idea is when there is an opposing to that energy, it is simply bringing up feelings within the other entity that they did not realize were there before. It's all the idea of their burying of insecurities that have been contained within their lower areas of the gut, so to speak, through the fog that is containing it. When you become your own natural loving self, you are bubbling those energies back up to the surface, because love does not hide anything. Love has nothing to hide. Love is all about embrace. Love is all about openness. Love is all about forgiveness and light, which represents, again, the dissipation of the fog. So the whole idea here is that when they get angry or agitated, they're not really getting angry or agitated at you. They are simply getting agitated of the catalyst that you represent, because you represent a freeing energy of love, and now they are attempting to bring those feelings to the surface because they felt that they've had to bury it for so long and are now starting to realize all these aspects of themselves that can either be embraced or can be run away from, but it will only come back to the surface again.
Oh, thank you for that. This is great information. I really appreciate this. I have a question about the nature of the reality that I live in. Yes. I'm aware that when I'm in a room with another person, the room that I see is the room that I see, and the other person is seeing a room similar to what I see because we're co-creating the experience, but it could be different in other ways.
Here's the idea is that the prop of the room in regards to location does feel the same, but really you're occupying two different rooms in the idea of two different perspectives. Every particular room or every particular being that is in that sense associated with you within a state of location is actually seeing a different version of the same space that you occupy. Simply because perspective is what makes everything different. Perspective is what makes everything unique. So as you both, say for example, have yourself and another in the room, as you are both there, even though there is a space, the whole idea is that your perception of the space will always be different. And so you are basically in a different room while in the same room.
This is great. This really helped me. I have these glimmerings of these things, and this is really helping it come together for me. So, thank you. And then about the expansion of consciousness. So there are, I am, and time doesn't exist. So the me that I recognize that now is an illusion of I'm just asking for your perspective on this. This is just my thought of me at a certain point around this circle of no beginning and no ending of just constant expansion. So that this is going to sound silly, but the cell of my right big toe, one little cell in there is already great, wonderful, infinite expansion, which is it's really hard to grasp actually, but I love thinking about things like this because it's fun for me. But so there's wonderful expansion happening all the time, and it's just a myriad of possibilities and a myriad of infinite probabilities, and it's all happening at the same time.
Yes. And here's the thing, is that everything that you experience within what you would consider to be a stream of time is based upon what has been mutually agreed upon through a co-creational collective. That's the whole idea. What you experience in this moment right now, having this phone call, communicating with us, communicating with Brad, etc., is all part of a co-creational agreement for the stream of what you understand time to be in order for it to actually take effect into manifestation into your physical reality. So what has been agreed upon in this stream of moment is a part of the idea of what you have chosen to experience, not only through yourself, but through the entire co-creation. That is how loving all of us are. We are all the time granting these forms of experiences together to co-create this moment. And that's the power. The whole idea of your measurement of time is that it represents a convenience. It holds the idea of a measuring stick of causality. And this is where many of you in that sense are keeping track. Is there anything wrong with time? Of course not. It is simply an invention. But the whole idea is that when you are existing in reality, if we were to look into the idea of a unit of distance, it's not so much about thinking how long or how wide a desk must be. It is more so in the idea that the desk itself is serving the purpose in regards to its, shall we say, orchestration, its existence altogether. And so this is the whole idea with perspective and event, is that it doesn't really matter about the measurement of time utilized in regards to its function. It is more so in the idea of utilizing the idea of the essence of the event to grow. That is the understanding.
Ah, yes. Thank you, because I just get this sense sometimes that the world I live in is just one big thought. Like, and if you took all the physicality and scrunched it down, it would be the size of a walnut. But it's not really there. It's just exists in our minds, really.
Everything is simply a property and a variable. It is a program that you have all consciously co-created together, and it simply is serving a purpose in regards to the experiment of experience. That's the whole point of physical reality. It is an experiment of experience.
This is so great. I'm going to be listening to this over and over again because this really helps. All right. And I had an experience. This was a while back now, but I just want to know your perspective on this one, where it was in the middle of the night, but I was sure that I was wide awake. I woke up. I was lying in my bed, and because of this vibration in my chest, like an intense, like it was vibrating so fast, and then it went throughout my body, this intense vibration. And then all of a sudden I was sitting like in a restaurant booth looking at two other people who were looking at me like I was a ghost. And I just sat there staring at them, and they stared at me. And then I started to do this vibration thing where I came back into my body, and one of them said, "She's disappearing."
Yes.
What was that all about?
Astral projection.
It was just
you were actually in that particular location in an astral body state to where two people actually recognized you. And because you were in that sense somewhat transparent, they were in that sense not too sure what to make of you, other than the idea of feeling that you may have been a wandering spirit. But really all you were doing was astral projecting. And many of you do this many times. Many of you actually begin walking around other places of your planet while your physical body is housed within your current space. You will actually, consciously or even unconsciously, astral project yourself into another area of the planet where you will serve as what you would know as a background person. And this is what we have elaborated on before, is that there are background people, what you would understand as people walking to and fro through your cities that are not even fully within their physical bodies. They are actually existing within certain astral states, and they are actually projecting their consciousness while their physical body is asleep to, in that sense, serve a purpose based upon vibratory magnetics to generate a feeling based upon co-creational principle.
Oh my goodness, this is so good for me to hear, because I had this dream, very vivid, where I was in the slums of a city in another country, and there was a woman who I knew to be a prostitute, but I don't care if she was a prostitute or not, but I knew that she had a child that was about 4 years old, and this woman was sleeping, and the 4-year-old child needed this woman, and I was beside this woman. I was going, "Wake up, wake up." It was so real and so vivid, and I was whispering it into her ear and getting it into her consciousness, because this child needed help, and this was the mother. I just thought that was a weird dream, but could that be what you were just talking about?
Precisely.
Wow. Wow.
The whole idea is that reality is never invalid. Everything that you experience within reality, be it with your own concurrent timeline or otherwise, is generating some type of impact, some way, somehow, somewhere. That's the whole idea. Reality is never invalid because it brings forward the state of experience, which will always constitute the feeling of the real.
Wonderful. Yes, 'cause I've been aware that my life is just about what I feel about it.
Yes, and you will also understand that many of your population centers upon your planet that occupy many of these beings in that sense, you may notice that you may walk across people and you may feel that they are simply projections. You may feel that they are actually holograms. And the whole idea is that this happens because, again, many people who are sleeping all across the planet who have never visited, let's say, a place like New York City, has allowed their own passions to bring themselves astrally onto that particular plane, whether they are conscious of it or not, and are actually walking the streets of New York City in their astral body. You will also discover that there are, again, incognito extraterrestrials that are walking around your planet very, very often, helping to, in that sense, intermix with the population to do, shall we say, energy work behind the scenes. There is so much going upon your planet right now that you are not being told that would basically be very spellbinding.
Wow. This is so great that I know this. So I can look out for it.
Yes. This is what we have termed as the repopulation protocol, is that many of the beings that are working behind the scenes are quietly just orchestrating these energetic forms of work that are helping to uplift people who are not even realizing that they're being uplifted. This is all part of the repopulation protocol effect, and that there are extraterrestrial liaisons serving as human beings that walk around your major population centers each and every single day, working very quietly behind the scenes to work with others, to helping them purge energies, to helping them enter a triggering of an upliftment state.
That's fantastic. That's really great. This is something different. I feel a maternal feeling towards Brad. Like he's about the same age as my children, my own two sons, but there's a definite sort of maternal, I don't know whether this is just because I like to feel maternal towards everybody or whether there's some kind of connection there. Can you sense anything?
Well, there is a connection there, and you will certainly feel it more so energetically as you understand the energy to which you are connecting with right now. It is the whole idea that there is no, shall we say, estranged idea between you and him. There have been other spaces dimensionally that you have shared. And so the whole idea is a refamiliarity in regards to previous experiences throughout your own constitution of time that is now bringing itself back together via an amalgamation effect. So therefore, what you feel is the validity of a, shall we say, previous relationship in regards to a higher capacity of different dimensional learning that is now coming together and harmonizing itself in this way, in this moment.
Great. That's good. Okay, and you had facilitated a sort of a Kalina to speak through Brad about she deals with the hybrid children. I found out that she's 47 years old, and my hybrid children...
She is a youngling, as it were. She is a youngling, as it were.
Yes, and so mine are also around 47, Tem, Shane, and Lucy, and they also work with hybrid children. And I'm wondering if there's a connection between Kalina
They all work together.
They all work
different
together.
capacities. Yes, the whole idea is that they do occupy different spacecraft, but they are always in telepathic contact with each other. So the whole idea is there will be times to where they do meet up in the physical, and there will be times to where they are, in that sense, working together with the children. These are what you would consider to be the elder generations, pertaining to the YahYel. Many in that sense who reach a higher state of adulthood in that sense, who have learned much with what they have personally gained in regards to their own experiences, will often be liaisons and facilitators for the children, to helping them out in regards to, shall we say, experiential matters. And so Kalina and many of your other children, as well as many others, are in that sense functioning together as liaisons. There is no hierarchical form pertaining to the YahYel civilization. It simply operates together in what you would know as co-creational union.
Wow, that's good to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and that will be it for today. I'm very happy with everything. Thanks so much for answering those questions.
Yes, we thank you very much. We thank you very much, Deborah, for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude, and high radiance of the highest light to your energy as well. Thank you very much. Farewell for this timing, and we now return to the conduit. We will speak to you again in the infinite moment of now. Goodbye. All right. Well, great session. All right. Thank you so much, Deborah. Wonderful. Wonderful indeed. But I'll send you this MP3 here for you in the next few minutes, and looking forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.